It is WAVE 97.9 WHAV, and we have Michelle Aulson in the studio. Goats to go, and Michelle, just a little bit. We've had a chance to chat between songs and things like that. You do amazing stuff.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming by this morning. I was kidding about the goats. I was hoping sometimes we have dogs here in the studio, but goats, I don't know. Could a goat make it down the stairs?
They do. They go up and down stairs. We train them to go up and down the stairs in our barn. So they could have come right in, but they might have done a few little pebbles left behind.
Well, that's okay.
Fertilizer.
Yeah, fertilizer on the rug. But the reason I made the initial call is about Christmas trees, and now that Christmas has come and gone, people are taking down the trees, and you collect them, huh?
We do. For the 7th winter, we're going to be doing an event January 11th at our farm, and we open up the farm to people come, drop off their trees, and make a donation to a local charity. For the 2nd year, we're doing it for Amuse Inc. this year. So the goats will nibble on the Christmas trees, and people can enjoy watching them, the sheep, the llama, have fun and rub and eat the trees.
So the story that we had talked about an internal furnace.
Yes. So goats, especially if they are eating, they're staying warm. Think about fueling a fire, right? So their little bodies will stay warm if they have a warm place to eat. So we give them free-range hay all winter and minerals, but the Christmas trees, goats need excitement. They need something fun to do. So they use it as scratching, rubbing their fur, rubbing their horns on it, and nibbling. So they nibble on the greenery of the trees, and the greenery is actually a natural dewormer, a low-level toxin at a level when they eat it. So we give them free choice of a few trees. Some of them they don't like, some they like more. And they'll nibble and they'll eat on that, and it actually helps to there's not many worms in the winter as much, but it helps to keep them kind of stimulated and entertained, the trees, as well as just nibbling on them.
Blue spruce?
Yes. They like the Douglas fir the best, it seems.
Now, you, just from picking up what you talk about, did you go to college and learn about farming?
I grew up on a farm. I grew up in Georgetown. I went away for many years. I went to the University of New Hampshire, actually, for environmental science. So I did study. Do I remember everything about trees? Probably not. But I went on to work for the Navy, dealing with the Clean Water Act, and actually helped write a Section 312 of the Clean Water Act for Department of Defense vessels. So that's pretty cool. So that was water. So I did mostly water throughout my entire career, the Clean Water Act stuff. But I've done over years many things. So when I returned home in the late 2016 is when I got more active with our goats that we had here that we were doing brush and poison ivy control with. So yes, I've been around it all my life.
So goats eat poison ivy?
They love it. It's like eating a candy bar for them. It's their favorite crop when they go someplace. They're out moving all summer, our older goats. We have over 130 goats and new babies on the way in the spring. And the babies do classes with us all summer, and the adults go out and eat. And they just love bittersweet, multi-rosiflora, and everywhere in Massachusetts. Everywhere in New Hampshire has poison ivy.
I've only had it once, and I didn't realize I was catching it.
Most people don't, but the goats don't catch it. They just love to eat it and nibble it up and get rid of it for you.
Oh, wow. And we're talking with Michelle Aulson from Goats to Go, but that's not the real name of the farm, though, is it?
No, we have a long history in Georgetown. We've been there since the late 70s. Many people know us as Great Rock Farm. We're off of Pond Street, right off of 7 Star in Groveland. And we've been there we did hay rides and pony rides when I was growing up as a child. And I like to say my father, Alan, went goat crazy in the early 2010s when he started getting a lot of goats because our dog Banjo loved herding goats more than sheep.
I did not know that.
So animals sometimes like herding certain other animals more, dogs. And we have Australian Shepherds, and Banjo he'd herd the sheep, but he really gets more excitement. He's now retired, and we have another dog. But
Unbelievable. I can just imagine somebody going to the farm for the very first time. Oh, how many animals do you have?
Well, we have a lot. They're actually snow goats. So they are in Florida, most of them, for the winter, so they can nibble and enjoy a little bit of the sunshine and birthing. We'll be birthing the goats down there. It's called kidding because they have a bunch of kids from the nannies. So we'll be doing that in February into March, and then they come north again in April, and that's when they start soon after in May, brush and poison ivy, and we start the babies with socializing them with our goat yoga and goat mingle classes on the farm. But
tell me about the goat yoga.
So it started back in 2017, just as a kind of small goats coming home for the summer, and we thought we'd do a class with a yoga teacher, and goats like to jump on things, so they jump on people during the classes. Babies only we use because they're small, and they learn to jump right up there with some goat treats, just like a dog. You can kind of train them a little bit, and everyone loves it. The smiles on the goats' faces. Oh, wait, maybe that smile on the people's faces, a little bit of both. Goats actually like people that are smiling, and it definitely rings true when you see the classes. So we just started doing it, and we've been doing it. This is going to be our 9th summer doing classes like goat yoga. And people that don't like goat yoga, we have mingle and snuggle for them classes with the babies, so they get to brush them and learn all about what our unique farm does with the animals.
Oh, wow. Now, we had a story about Goats to Go back when they were putting the Vietnam Veterans Memorial together over at Plug Pond, that monument over there, the park, and they brought in Goats to Go to clean it up, huh? They did.
They brought them in to help with the vegetation in that area when they were opening up, and they were there for the opening celebration of the opening of the memorial as well. That was back in, I think, 2019 or 2000.
No, 2020.
2020.
2021, something like that.
Yeah.
Now, do you rent the goats out to individuals? Say they live on land that is overgrown?
Yes.
Do you do that?
Yes. So we've been doing that since the early 2010s. We go out and we bring, depending on the size of the job, small backyards, larger backyards. We've done a lot of cemeteries and earth grave sites that you can't even see the graves up in Andover. And we go all the way around Haverhill. We actually go to Whittier Place, birthplace, every summer to help graze, and we bring the sheep and the goats there for different vegetation types. So we bring them all over, usually Memorial Day to Labor Day. They're out eating at houses, National Park Service. We've done University of UMass Lowell. So they go all over throughout the summer, and they eat vegetation that people don't want. And if you want to be out in your backyard enjoying it, you don't want to be getting poison ivy.
No, you don't. Now, are you the only farm that does this?
No, there are quite a few farms that do it. I think we have one of the largest operations in terms of the amount of goats and the amount of jobs that we can work at one time. We do sometimes reach out to other folks. There's places up in Maine, some southern New Hampshire, a little bit more western Mass that do it, and southern Massachusetts. I know some of them have popped up and gone back down. It's a lot of money and expenses for upfront. Trailers, trucking them to and from, setting up the electric fence so the goats can be safe, making sure you have the animals' safety and the health of them, maintaining them, just feed in general. It's about $50 a bale of hay, and they don't just use one a day. So just the expense of having goats alone is a lot for some people that love it, but they just can't afford to do everything that they'd love to do with the animals.
Well, I have one dog, and I cringe every time I have to take her to the vets. I can't imagine what your vet bill is like. Are you a vet too?
No. Well, being a farm owner, you have to learn how to administer shots when needed on the direction of the veterinarian. So we work with SRH out of, I guess they're out of Ipswich, right on the line.
Yeah,
and we've worked with them for many years with all of our animals, and sometimes we have a program or a plan in place with them. But for the most part, we do the clipping of the hooves that you have to do every few months. We give CDT shots in the spring before we birth. we have lots of different maintenance. But for the most part, they're pretty hardy. You give them what they need, safe area, fresh water, vegetation and food to eat, and minerals, and they're happy and healthy.
And sheep eat different things than the goats?
And they do. So we like to say I like to say, for example, goats like to jump up and eat things that are high off the ground. The goats have a little bit more fun with what they eat. Stone walls are a specialty. They can get in hillsides where people can't really mow. The sheep, on the other hand, eat grasses mostly, but they will eat poison ivy if it's on the ground cover. So sheep won't eat up a tree. They won't eat brush and shrubs. They mostly will just eat the ground. So depending on that, they're really good with our solar fields, solar grazing, which is solar fields where they have panels that goats have a reputation of jumping up. That's why the goat yoga is so good.
Oh, okay. So like a solar field, that would be more sheep, right?
Correct, yep. So we have over 200 sheep. We actually have more sheep than goats. And we've been doing projects with them for many years on the solar grazing, but also grazing at older farms and areas where it's mostly the types of vegetation that they'll eat.
Do you have to, they call it shear the sheep?
Well, good question. A lot of people mistake our sheep for goats all the time. Our sheep are hair sheep, so they don't have wool, a little less maintenance. Their food and what they need to eat is a little bit different than the wool sheep, but they're a little bit more parasite resistance, which is really good for what we do, meaning worms in the soils that naturally occur. So we don't have to shear them. They shed their hair twice a year, and the breed originated in Maine, so they can withstand cold temperatures.
And so your animals they're like snowbirds. They go down south, huh?
They do. Yep. So right now we have most of our goats, sheep, and horses, our Great Pyrenees, who are guardian dogs, and our Australian Shepherds, and our little Yorkie who runs the show. We all know he does. And up north, we just have the goats that we do goat hiking and goat yoga with in the winter, as well as the Christmas trees that will be getting dropped off. We have some lambs that are 5 weeks old now, a llama, she keeps the sheep protected, and 2 groups of goats, as well as our bucks and rams that are in Georgetown.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, this is fast. I find this fascinating, and you got a lot of knowledge in there. I'm sure you have a website, right?
We do. It's goatstogo.farm, F-A-R-M, and we're also on social media. That's the most exciting place, and we just posted a lot of videos of the goats munching on Christmas trees yesterday. It's got almost, I think, 100 views already, or 100 likes.
So quickly now, the fundraiser for Amuse, they can bring the trees in now?
We are just accepting them. We do a one-day only event just because the farm's not staffed for visitors outside of our events. So we do a one-day only event. Lee Biddle will be doing some live music then. The goats will be eating and munching, and people, Amuse will be there with a table for a little bit more information, and we collect donations upon arrival when you drop off the tree. Some people just drop off a tree. Others get out and enjoy a little music and time with the animals.
How about that? All right. Well, Michelle, thank you so much. So goatstogo.farm.
Yes.
I've never heard that before, .farm.
Yes.
How about that? Anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you so much, Wynn, for having me this morning. This has been lovely.
Well, it has been. I've learned an awful lot. And do people have, like, pet goats and all, like they have dogs and stuff like that? They
definitely do. We've been on a few TV shows, including Jonathan Knight owns some of our goats, and he's had the New Kids Goats on the Block show with Farmhouse Fixer before, too.
Yeah.
They buy hay from us still.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Michelle Aulson, Goats to Go in Georgetown, our guest this morning right here on the WAV, 97.9 WHAV.
Wake up with Wynn Damon weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV.